Ah, Danny, you really know how to pick 'em, don't you? This is gonna be fun. Dana STRUM. It's been a good lesson. You know, in the earlier day, you're hungry and you want to do whatever you can. And you see some jacked up things. Gallon of speed metal band, the band's, you know, pissing in a bottle and giving it to her to drink like it's beer. And you're like, oh, that's fucking fucked up. But you see the inner turmoil. You know, you work with other people and you realize they've got demons and issues. And I remember when I saw that about Ozzy, because we were very, very different people. And he had a thing about telling me, don't be in the business, it'll ruin your life. And later, of course, I realized, you know, it's funny, he was right. Little will I ever tell the guy. I did much later to his face. You know, you were right. But we would joke about it. But it was a good character builder for me. And my MO was not, you know, God, you're a fucking jackass. My MO was somehow, I can make this work. It might not be fair and it might not be fair to me, but I'll make it work. And somehow there's got to be something that comes out of this. You know, there's got to be some reason I would meet what were different, unusual, and or difficult people. And somehow not be the one that could be the snapdragon and be overreactive. So sometimes by watching people that were extremely overreactive or overly emotional, what have you, you realize, well, it didn't do any good. Nothing that just happened in this room did any good. All we did was waste 2.5, 3 fucking hours, and we're right back to zero, and nothing good came from this. So it was a great school lesson for me. Don't forget there was no internet, so you couldn't go on YouTube and, you know, how to do this, or how to deal with a difficult person, or how to deal with a jackass, or how to deal with somebody with mental problems. You just try, I mean, you figured it out or you didn't. And somehow or another, from the very first time sloshing through the beer bottles or being at the Starwood in those days, I realized a part of my role was going to never be normal, and it was always going to be, I got to see through the mess. And somehow, if I can just see through the mess, I'll find something good there, and I'll see if I can chase that. I mean, booze, I drank. I wasn't a young drinker. I really wasn't a young partier. There was, you know, you'd perform at the Starwood. Needless to say, the Starwood was a drug haven. It was a whore haven. It was a fucking Hollywood prostitution haven. There was nothing it wasn't. There's movies out there about it. There's movies out there about taking the drugs out of the Starwood and people getting killed because of it. I always knew something odd happened there. But after that experience, early for me, because I was young with Ozzy, and a little bit of it was a little bit of a blow, because I loved the music and everything so much, and I'm like, God, that just isn't what I thought this. I don't know why I thought anything, but it wasn't what somebody was, you know, going to be like. Some people say, look, if you love somebody's music, don't meet him. You might really, really hate everything. So I drank, but it was never to a point where I was like an angry alcoholic. I worked with some, and I'm like, oh my God, you know, what just happened? We were laughing, we were having fun, and the next thing you know, fuck off. And you know, I mean, this black demon comes out of someone. So I had seen a lot of that, and you know, Ozzy was kind of a funny drunk. Others that I worked with later were much more bitter and much more angry. And I was lucky enough that I worked with some older bitter drunks too, and I realized it's the same thing. It's the same fuck you. And oh, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter if you're 20 or 60. If you're an angry alcoholic, you're a fucking angry alcoholic. And it's not my problem, but I think I've learned how to deal with it, which is just tune it out. Just tune it. Nothing you're saying really matters, so can we just do what we're supposed to do here, or let's leave? And I was lucky. So no drugs, and everybody would tell me, I mean, Ozzy, oh, come on, you know you do coke. I'm like, I don't. I'm really not interested. Oh, I know you do. And But I didn't. You know, after seeing people that didn't, it was destroying their life. It was the greatest teacher in the world for me. Have you ever done anything better high on coke? Here, let me help you. No, I'm not going to do it. So I would drink, but I was kind of my own hall monitor. And hey, did I drink and drive when I shouldn't have? Yeah. Did I make mistakes? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I do things I shouldn't have done? Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fucking liar if I don't say I did. Of course I did. I didn't get caught. That was nothing but dumbass luck. But I started to learn. As a kid, I was a kid in my bedroom. I didn't go to the prom. I didn't go on dates. I really didn't give a shit about girls. I wanted to play the stupid bass. Today, I still call it the stupid bass. I laugh sometimes at it, but I was that kid that just sat there. I just wanted to play. I do everything I can to always try to remember, don't forget, you were the one that made that decision that you wanted to play the stupid bass. No one forced me to do this. But remember when you used to close the door and turn the music up? You didn't need drugs. You couldn't afford booze. If you could, it was Annie Greensprings, $1.05 for a bottle, and you'd mooch it out of a 7-Eleven. But you wanted to do this. No one, Dana, forced you to do this but you. And I didn't force myself. I loved it. So whenever you get that awkward feeling, or I do try to bring myself back to that teenage bedroom and realize, and I was lucky enough to be able to continue to do it. There were many times, even at the beginning of Slaughter, I thought, look, I'm really too old. I'm really too old. Mark's younger than me. I'm really too old. Maybe I'll do the records with him and write, and maybe, I don't know. And I was older, so I missed that same window because of so many of the other things that I was doing. I really missed that window. And I wasn't really bitter about it. I just thought, hey, it didn't happen for me. And but I learned all these other things, and I'll figure something out to do with them. Every couple years, I started to go through, especially when the Slaughter guitarist Tim Kelly died. I thought, well, the music scene's changed. The grunge scene has almost put 80s rock out of fucking business. The plug was pulled faster than you can say hooker, and the plug was yanked out of the wall, and nothing really was the same. We went from tour buses and arenas to rental cars and getting traffic tickets. None of it was glamorous. None of it was what any of us really signed up for, but none of us were willing to say, just fuck it. And with Slaughter, we were one of the few bands that did keep playing out there and never really changed from what we were doing. Did I leave off those things and say, God damn, man, fucking son of a bitch is not really what I signed, any of us signed up for. Fuck me. Anybody did. Maybe should I be the one? When Tim Kelly died, I remember, maybe this is it. Maybe we all just pushed this too far. Now the guy's dead. I never did know what Tim was going to do. I always thought, well, Mark will be fine. He's going to sing. He's going to write. He's going to do his thing. Mark plays a lot more guitar than people know, and he's more musical than people know. I always would rationalize in my head, Bloss, good-looking guy. He'll find his way. I never really did know. I never could put my finger on what Tim was really. What if this didn't? I never could put my finger on it. And I really did think in my mind, maybe this should be it. And I never could bring myself to say, so that's it. Go figure my dumb luck and all these guys' dumb luck. That very year in '98 was one of the first package tour years with Rock Never Stops that changed the face of these 80s bands going out again. The same very fucking year. And worse yet, it was one of my concepts with the agent. Look, maybe 2 and 2 and 2, something's got to happen here. Maybe these bands will do better together and everybody stop fighting with one another and, my cock's bigger than yours. Either we put them together and something's got to happen here because none of these bands are going to make it. Let's be financially real here. It's not going to work. And go figure that year of Rock Never Stops, Many of those dates went into overflow percentages for the first time in these bands' lives, 7, 8 years. And all of a sudden there was some shining light that was damn near extinguished. And we were proud to be involved. We were on every one of those Rock Never Stops things other than one, and it was only because we were on literally every single one of them. And it was almost seemingly like an inside, well, it was kind of an inside thing. I mean, it was the agents along with us. They call Mark because they liked him. Call me because I became a business partner. They liked me. We were really lucky we had those relationships. And all the bands that cooperated were among the same bands that ended up out there with us. Every one of them, actually, including Vince, was the joke of it. Mark said the same thing. You wrote it, you labored over it, you produced it, you mixed it. There's going to be a thing because those were your songs, and you knew when you sat there, him and I falling asleep, by a bathtub. Remember, I almost drowned that night. I was so tired, I pulled the thing out. I don't know, startled myself from the water because I was just so beat up. It was the night we finished all the acoustic guitar layering on Flight of the Angels. I remember we just kept sitting there and listening. I said, God damn it, man, if we don't have something with this, I mean, if what we're hearing back right now, just this stupid rough the way it is, I don't know what to say. I mean, God damn it, how can this not? And so you of course you remember that. You can advance the clock to winning the American Music Award, but again with your own efforts. Motley Crue is the undisputed champion of the 80s rock genre. Kiss really was a 70s band. They flowed into the into the 80s and flowed into the 90s, including the first tour was the Slaughter tour. Motley Crue were the undisputed Hollywood kings, and no one's going to take it away from them. When Vince plays with Motley Crue, you see that same gleam, and I was out there, and I saw the same gleam. Those were the guys that he was on that bus with, just like I was. And there's nothing wrong. Many, I'm like, dude, that's you guys. Like Kickstart will come on a sports show. It's you guys, it's not me. It's you guys, okay? Needless to say, when we're playing the stuff that I know that he and I went through this, including from that very fateful meeting and the early Vinnie Vincent experiences, you're putting your ass out there. And this is all we got to say, all we got to do, all we got to say, and we're not going to run from the early stuff that we did because you know what? We knew at the time. This doesn't go, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. And so it's just a natural thing. I mean, no different than when I was out with Motley Crue, and I was purely in a managerial capacity, but I'd see the fire. I'm like, of course, that's his band. That's his band. And no matter what it is, he loves to be in his band. Who doesn't? I think number one, almost like auto racing or drag racing, no matter what the internet's done to the purchasing of music, and no matter what Pandora and Spotify has done, many of those free plays from younger kids wouldn't be maybe people that are ever exposed to hearing like, wow, what is that? And so they get that free listen, and we complain because we don't get paid. We don't get paid properly. We never agreed to be exposed on that format for any one of those amounts of money. That's a separate tale or a legal matter. But the fact is, the benefit to it could be that people have discovered some of this stuff that maybe wouldn't have if you had to buy or not buy. That's the question. If you went into your local mall store and you had your $10 bill, if you couldn't have heard it for free at a listening station, or you couldn't have heard, they do know. They programmed a Pandora station, or they listened to it, or they poked around the internet. And I think it's given it different legs. If you go to a drag race, it's loud, it's furious, it smells. There's no experience like a live thing. There is no experience like a live rock concert. I think people will, the people that have a love for this music will always have a love for this music, and if it wasn't for them, none of us would be here. You guys wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be anybody interested in hearing an idiot like me saying any of this, or anybody else. I'm thankful for it. I don't think that the musical style will ever die. It'll go through its secular changes, which it has. But I think the live fire will always be there. I've said to Mark, and it parallels one of the questions that you asked me, dude, you'll be like Frankie Valli. You can always go sing these songs. You're the singer. You can always go sing these songs. 80s rock certainly went through the greatest thing in the world, dominating MTV, to almost extinct. To, you know, god damn, that shit was fun. And fuck, a lot of those people were pretty good. And it gives you an invigorating feeling to see it that way. I don't think 80s rock will ever die a certain and complete death. I think 80s rock will be around as long as people are willing to still be interested in it. And as long as, say, the singer is willing to sing it.